Hello and welcome to the Entrefluential Life podcast. This is the early morning show with Sebastian and John. I was going to say Joe again, like the last time. Joe, HN.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome, people. How are you all? I hope you guys are having a fantastic morning or afternoon or evening, whenever you're watching this. But this is the morning show, so I'm going to assume that you're watching this in the morning and that you're getting ready to charge yourself up for an action-packed show that will energize you for the rest of the week as you move forward throughout the day and for the rest of the week. Sebastian, how are you doing, buddy?
That's right. I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing great, and I'm really curious to hear what you were telling me right before we went live, because you were saying something about this morning's workout. Was it this morning that you're talking about, or was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this morning, the plan is for me to start running every day because my conditioning for the boxing, I told my coaches what my basically my plans are with them. So I want to start sparring in September.
Okay.
They could take me as far as I want to go with it. So
me, you have not been running?
No.
Oh.
No, I haven't been running. No, I started doing it. Everything's kind of been on and off. So it's and then stuff other factors with life, and then I'm moving into a new apartment. So I've been slowly taking care of stuff for that. I've been doing a lot of stuff for work. Basically, I've been going to bed super late every single day, not getting enough sleep, and then I wake up.
Problem. What's keeping you up at night? Watching movies, playing video games?
Just everything. It's a combination. Some nights are movies, some nights are YouTube.
Things that you don't want to talk about online because it would be inappropriate.
I'm throwing ragers every night, guys. Pretty much it's just irresponsibility, it's not enough sacrifice. And we had that last episode, which is why I love this show so much, because it's we bring these topics up for you guys to listen to. But in reality, it's information that we're bringing to ourselves to better us, and we hope that you guys can learn something from it as well, like we do. And that
100%.
last episode,
yeah,
it was
it's self-therapy as much as it is educational.
Exactly. So when I'm thinking about do I want to suffer through regret of me not pushing myself to get to the physique I want to? Yeah, so
just like the quote from last week. If it doesn't, what was it? Everyone must choose one of two pains: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret.
Exactly, and I've lived my whole life has been the pain of regret. I never worked hard enough, and when I was younger, I wasn't put into martial arts classes and boxing classes and different kung fu or taekwondo. All of these different
martial arts
that I wanted, the different martial arts that I wanted to pursue as a kid.
You did do sports as a kid, but they were different types of sports.
They weren't,
BMX.
I wanted to do exactly. So
you
did
BMX,
was cool.
which you were great at, by the way. I mean, you won trophies.
I know.
If people saw the trophies that you won, they'd be like, "Damn, nice. That's amazing."
Yeah, I placed third place against professional of the class level. They're not pros, but there's intermediate, there's novice, which I was a novice. I had never done it before. My first year of doing that, I ended up getting a race against the professional class of the racers, and I placed third place against them. That's amazing. I remember that day, I wasn't even feeling it. I was tired going over there. I was sleeping in the car on the way. I felt like crap, and I really didn't even push myself that hard. And I got third place. So I had really good potential for BMX, but I didn't work hard enough. I remember I had one race I was in the lead, and I remember my stepfather, he got pissed because I was in the lead, and then I started coasting at the end, almost like showboating. I was just dee, you know, and then everyone boom zoomed past me. And I remember that was a hard night to go home afterwards. But anyways, it was it was a disappointing. But I've never really put my all into something, wake up and sacrifice, go to bed early. I had some days where I did. It was always lukewarm. And just like with God, you don't want to be lukewarm. It's the same thing with your life. You don't want to be lukewarm with your life. So after we had that last episode, I'm like, you know what? I need to put in the damn work. I need to work my ass off.
Yeah.
And so now the goal is to do running every day before work, and beforehand, going to bed super late. How am I supposed to wake up in the morning? I have to get up for work at 7 to start getting dressed and then just leave. So how am I supposed to get up before that if I'm going to bed at 1, 2 a.m. every night playing the video game? It's not possible.
Yeah, something has
So
to give.
exactly.
Yeah.
So pretty much it's like I I went to the boxing class yesterday to get
And
back to the
truthfully,
topic.
like if you postpone your video games until let's say Friday night when you're gonna be off on Saturday, or Saturday night when you're off on Saturday,
Exactly.
you'll enjoy it a whole lot more when you do it that one day a week.
Exactly. I agree.
It should be a
Ex-
reward.
it is, and like, or even like maybe if I get off work early and then I take care of myself, or maybe I allocate like I'll play the game for an hour and then go and get some stuff done. Like
You can squeeze it in
that's
there.
exactly like if I have a really early day at work one day,
Yeah.
so it's like that's basically what the goal is now. Instead of just
Okay.
playing like at night and then play until 2 a.m. For some nights where it's 4 or 5 a.m. I'm not even lying. I don't know how I was up all night.
Yeah, it's
So
addiction. It's an addictive thing for sure. Because
yeah,
if you think about how human beings are motivated, we have
yes,
the senses, right? Sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. Anything that provokes those senses is is captivating to us. And so you're getting all of
exactly,
that with the video games.
exactly. Yeah,
Well, maybe not the taste part, but the sight, sound, the touch, the
and for
control,
me, it's
the
also
sound,
like
the smell. I mean, not the smell, not the smell and not the
I guess
taste.
like the feeling, like if
Unless
you
you
win a
unless you
game
pee
or
your
whatever.
pants.
Oh, then it's gonna be a really bad smell. That's horrific to think about.
That happens.
Yup,
You might
it
crap your
does.
pants if you do a bad job or something. I don't know. It's
Oh
terrible.
my gosh, that is funny, man.
Uh,
That's funny.
it's just
So, um, so yeah, so like, and then it's also like I don't have much friends out here. I just work. So when
mhm.
I get the chance to play the game with them, it's like I'm hanging out with my friends.
Oh, okay. I see.
All
I
I do
can see
is
the value in that for sure.
exactly. So,
Mhm.
anyways, it's basically just I let it get out of hand with my lack of sleep, and I can't recover properly that way. So
Mhm.
I was doing the boxing class yesterday, and I told them what my plans are.
Mhm.
So they're going a lot harder on me, and basically like they still give everybody tips, but now that they know what my goal is, and then I told them like I'm gonna be here like every day pretty soon, like I'm gonna get the monthly membership. Before I was dropping in the classes.
Mhm.
So with that in mind, the coach is giving me more of a keen eye. Like, okay, like this is what he wants to do. He's committed. Like, let's make this happen. Like, let me
Okay.
coach him a little bit more. So I'm in the class. Like, I'm focusing more on my movement.
Mhm.
Like in boxing, you can't just stay in one place. You have to constantly be moving around. Otherwise, you're gonna get hit.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, my conditioning is not at the level to be moving around quite that much. So we're in the ring and he has us do these drills. Someone's on the speed bag, someone's on the heavy bag, someone's on the uppercut, like the whatever that bag is called. Someone's on the double end bag. Like this is so much stuff that they have over there. We're doing circuits. Someone's always in the ring with the coach. It ends up being my turn. And man, I'm telling you, like I was there early, so I was already jumping rope and everything, hitting the bike, hitting the bag. I was already kind of tired before the class even started, which is it's already bad. And so then I get in the ring with the trainer,
Mhm.
and he's having me do these drills, and he makes it simulates it like a fight. So he starts coming towards you, and you have to navigate the ring, like you have to do it like you're actually in a fight. So
Mhm.
it's not just like, oh, we're gonna hit the bags and have some fun or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I'm hitting the bags, and he's coming towards me. Now I have to move around.
Mhm.
So it's already exhausting throwing punches. Like people don't really understand. And then now you got to move around. And then he's like, okay, now do this, and that. And then throw one punch. And then now he's coming towards you. So now I have to move to the left. Now I got to move to the right. My conditioning is not cut out for that. So I was already getting tired. And I remember he was like, you getting tired of me already? Like in a funny way. And I was like, I'm like, yeah, man, we got a lot of work to do. It's like he's like he was laughing. I was making him crack up. Like the look that he gave me, he was like, you getting tired on me already? I was like, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
So um I was like, yeah, man, we got a lot of work to do. Like in the class, he asked me how I was feeling because this was one that I pushed myself harder than the other classes that I had been over there.
Okay.
It was exhausting, and we didn't have AC. Like it had just went out like for the day,
Okay.
so imagine like training in like super heat is even harder than just training in an air conditioned building, which is
better for you though.
It's better because you're working your body so much harder. So I was gonna throw up, I was gonna faint, I was gonna pass out. Like I was going through a moment at one point where I had to let the class keep going, and I had to go and just sit in front of the fan. I had to go stand by the trash can at one point because I thought I was gonna throw up. So it was like, okay, now I need to start running every day.
That was a wake-up call for you.
It was a good wake-up call because I pushed myself harder. And sometimes you can push yourself too hard, but that's like, you're not really like pushing yourself to the best of your ability. I feel like if you don't get close to that level, you know, like if you don't feel like you're dying, then if you have energy left in the gas tank, you didn't work hard enough, is what I feel like. So
boy, that's really valuable, man. It's valuable that you went through that. It's valuable for people who are listening to this, because what if an apocalypse broke out today? Are you prepared to save your life and the lives of your family? Are you physically in shape to do that? And if not, why not? Are you going to be a victim, or are you going to be a victor?
Exactly.
You know, and the way that you're going to become a victor, a champion, is through preparation, man.
Yes.
Luck.
Yes.
Mark Twain said it. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Absolutely.
You know, it doesn't show that you're successful until the opportunity arises, but are you prepared for when it arises? You know, so good for you, man. That you,
thank you.
That you put yourself in an environment to have this awareness, because obviously, if you're at home playing video games, you feel empowered on the video screen, but you know, in real life, it's not really helping you. It doesn't help your body.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I've been watching the training videos, the boxing, and like these different drills and stuff. And I've been playing the UFC game on the Xbox. And I'm getting all excited. I'm like, I'm ready for my next training class.
Yeah. And then you go there, and it's like, that shit was useless. I'm sorry.
No,
that's
exactly
was useless
what I felt like. That's exactly
in the real world.
What I felt. That was like. Let me tell you, I was in that class, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm like getting excited. I'm watching these drills, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm feeling it. And then,
yeah.
Shoot, man, it's like it's
let's
a whole
step out of
game.
virtual reality, the virtual world, and let's step into the physical world and get stuff done. You know,
I mean, you can watch the videos all day long, but it's not until you start putting in the work that you'll get progress. So.
Physical
it was intense, man. It was intense. And I have a lot of weight to cut for the training, but the thing is, like, going through that makes it easier for me to say no to sweets right now. Like, that's my thing, is like, I have so many sweets.
When you work really hard, you're like, what the hell am I doing? I feel the same way, man. I mean, honestly, I had a popsicle, last night while I was watching TV. And every time I do that, I feel so damn guilty, because I worked out in the morning and it's sweated and busted my butt, and then turn around and eat it in calories and junk calories. So I'm very conscious every day, like all day long. I'm conscious about what I'm putting in my mouth, because I know it's going straight to the gut. Is this going to go straight to the gut or not?
Exactly.
Sugar's your worst enemy.
Yeah, and you also have to ask yourself, like, did I put that work in this morning
for nothing,
for a reason? Or did I put it in for nothing? But I'm going to be weak and have this right now.
Yeah.
And that's like what I've been doing, and even
or you're going to let it compound and turn you into the next version of you 2.0.
Exactly. And like the stuff that you put in your body, like I didn't feel fuel for that workout. Like, I had a bagel, like a breakfast bagel.
That's not
on
good.
The way there. And that's not what I should have had. I should have had like some oatmeal and stuff, and maybe like some chicken or some steak or whatever.
A granola bar. I mean, like, dude, like, a protein shake and an energy drink,
like something that's good fuel,
protein powder, a protein bar, Quest, those Quest peanut butter chocolate protein things that's only 12 grams of protein, but it's better than nothing. I mean,
the carbs is like the biggest thing for the
I mean, really, you should be eating fruit, right? Like, fruit is good. It's healthy for you, good energy,
I would say it's good to start off the morning with that. Like, I think in the morning, some fruit, maybe a packet of oatmeal, and then eggs.
Yeah,
and
you start getting
like.
You need to get like what is it called, acai bowls.
Yeah, those are good too, but sometimes they can have too much sugar, so it depends.
Okay.
Like they make certain things look good, but then it's not actually good for you.
Okay.
So I would say like make this stuff at the home is the best. Like I
Yeah.
thought I had some enough fuel in me from what I ate in a day, and it wasn't nearly enough. So it's like, you know, stuff like that. It's like, okay, I'm not even fueling myself to perform the best at this training session right now.
Yeah.
Like when I had days where I had 2 packets of oatmeal
So,
and then some like a protein shake with it before I went to the gym when I was living with you guys, like back in
yeah.
2020,
Yeah.
I would
So
feel like so much stronger. So that was giving me the right fuel to train.
okay. So were you taking carbs and protein together because of the workout you need carbs?
Yeah, so carbs is like the biggest thing. Like people are like, some people go no carbs and some people are like they hate carbs. But the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
if you have it at the right time, which is something my mother had taught me, um,
It's
it can
been
be a very useful tool.
okay.
Because when you're like a runner, for example, like you need
Yeah.
a lot more carbs than the normal person. Because if you have it, let's say at night before you're going to bed, it's not doing jack crap for you.
Terrible. It's
If
bad.
you have it, yeah, because it's going to turn into glucose. It's going to turn right into
Mm-hmm.
sugar, go right
Yeah.
into the gut,
Go
and make
straight
you
to your
more
gut.
fat. Exactly. But
But
let's
in
say
the
you
morning,
have
you're gonna
it.
have the whole day to burn it.
Yes, it'll fuel you for your day, for your work day. And then
Mm-hmm.
also, if you have carbs before the workout,
Okay.
then you immediately like you're giving your body fuel. It's like you're putting the right gasoline in the car. You
Okay.
know, like
So,
like a
so a
BMW
combination of
needs.
protein and carbs. So
Yes,
like a breakfast burrito probably would be a good thing.
I would say everything at home though, because I can get a
Like,
breakfast burrito at Burger King. It's not going to give me the right fuel that at the house is going to give me.
yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's like if I want to have a good amount of carbs in the day, a breakfast burrito is a good idea. And then I
Okay.
make that at the house. Like, am I going to add potatoes in there? No. Like, you got to have it with just eggs or maybe a little bit of cheese, but you got to track it.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
like stuff like that it's got to be made at the house because the stuff at the grocery stores, the pre-made things, and then the stuff
Mm-hmm.
at fast food places is not going to give you enough. You know, like some people can eat whatever and they're
Mm-hmm.
in great shape. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. I'm happy that you can do that. I wish I was
Yeah.
you.
Everybody's
I'm me.
metabolism is different.
Exactly. It processes food differently.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I noticed like when I ate certain things before working out and what made me feel a certain way, what gave me energy, things like that. It's
Okay.
like, okay, now throughout the day, I need to make some better choices. Like instead of
Yeah.
getting a burger at my lunch break or whatever, like
Yeah.
I need to get maybe some Chipotle and not
Yeah.
so much rice, not so
Chicken
much
salad.
sauce.
Skip the rice.
Chicken salad's really good.
Yeah. So
So
Chipotle has salad as the base, and then you put the chicken and some guacamole on top of that. Boom.
I would say, yeah, and then like
The
the pico,
vegetables.
like you can put the salsa in it, the pico
That's so
salsa.
good. So good.
Yeah, you can get that stuff like, and
Mm-hmm.
then the lettuce on top,
Yeah.
like the cheese, like so most people like what I would do is I would get sour cream and cheese, and I would
Yeah.
get the vinaigrette too.
Mm.
You want to skip that. Like if you're gonna have one of those, you pick one of them. If I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have sour cream, I can't have the cheese and the
Okay.
vinaigrette. If I want to have cheese, I can't have the sour
Or,
cream
or you could do
because
a
it's
half portion of it. Like, okay, just give me a half portion of cheese,
you could,
spoonful of
yeah,
a spoon of sour cream. That way you get a little bit of the taste, right? So, but you're not giving
you
that big
can,
dollop that they normally put,
right.
which is too much. So maybe a little bit in moderation so you get that flavor. You know what I mean? It's way better
Yeah,
than just
that's
saying
not
put
gonna
everything
hurt
on it.
you. Yeah,
Huh?
like that. If you have a little bit
To
of it,
start with, and then maybe you can progressively
exactly.
wean off of it, because if you want to live lean, then you need to cut out the cheese and cut out the sour cream.
Yeah, so like I love that because that's what promotes stability, like sustainability in
Yeah,
fitness and health. Like
sure.
that's what like I would
And
not
you can
do.
always
It's
have a
like
cheat day, one day a week,
progressively.
where you go and go all in.
Yeah, and even then, maybe not too. Going all in, if you're me
Yeah,
versus somebody else, is
like
going to be
don't
a
binge eat
two
junk
things.
food
Yeah.
all day long. Yeah.
So that's what I would do. That's like for me, that's going all
Oh,
in.
I've
Like I'm
done that
having
too, man.
massive
Trust me,
meals.
the apple didn't fall far from the tree in that one.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
We're two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
So, but stuff like that it's amazing because if you start a type of training like that where you're really pushing yourself, you're not gonna want to binge at night. Like that would be my thing. Is like nighttime. Like I would just have more food than throughout the day because I sometimes I wouldn't eat breakfast for work or whatever. I would kind of fast like indirectly.
Okay. Hey, I lost you. Oops. So we just lost Sebastian. Wait, there he is.
Back?
Yep, you're back. That was quick. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. But basically, like, I would scarf my food down at night, and because I ate it so fast, I felt more hungry. So then I ended up having like like more food, and then I ended up getting all of a sudden now I'm super full, super bloated, because I shouldn't have had that much that quickly. I didn't really let it start digesting, see how my body is talking to me. So that's like a lot of people can go through that of overeating at nighttime. Like they wait all day or whatever to have like their big meal, and then they end up having too big of a meal.
Okay, so to put a tail at the end of this introduction, because we're gonna move into the content.
Yeah.
Let's say that the two key takeaways that you've gotten in the last 24 hours is, number one, go to bed early so you can get a full night's rest, and eat healthy in the morning so that you have energy in the morning too. Those two things will give you enough energy to have a good morning, which is fantastic because this is the early morning show. So this advice is really helpful to everybody who's paying attention so that you can go out there and crush it throughout the day. It's all about having your body in the best shape of form to have a great day.
Yeah, and even smaller meals throughout the day. Like you can break it up, and that's even more beneficial for you
I love
trying to eat
5 to 6 times a day, actually.
Yes, that's
to raise your metabolism.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was a good introduction.
And drink Celsius.
I love Celsius.
Yeah, yep. Celsius. We need sponsorship money, so don't forget about us, please.
We do. I would love some free Celsius.
It's JOHNTANNER. All right, so why don't you go ahead and tell us about the Black Panther exercise, and I'll go ahead and pull it up on the screen. How's that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So, who is this one by this time?
I think it's not 100% sure.
I'm not sure. I see a Superfit logo on there, so maybe that could be the creator. It looks a little bit different than Nyla Ray.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was. So my mistake. I put Nyla Ray on there, but apparently it's not Nyla Ray.
It could be. I got no clue. There's really no branding on it, so I'm not too sure exactly who it is. But basically, it's a Black Panther superhero themed home workout. The rules, it says, are to perform all sets for each exercise before moving on to the next exercise. Take 30 seconds in between each set. So you have 6 sets, like 6 different exercises. Oh, wait, 30 seconds between each set. Okay, I'm understanding now. That's okay. Yeah, this kind of makes sense. So you have 6 exercises.
Yeah, 6 exercises, and the first one is a jog
for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So you start off with a 10-minute run. It's not pushing yourself to the max capacity. You're just doing like pretty much a light jog, from what I can see here. The second, after you finish that 10 minutes of running, the second exercise is an air squat. So this is where the rule of 30 seconds in between each set applies, because you have 3 sets of 1 minute of squatting. It doesn't sound crazy when you look at it, but if you actually do it, it's going to be really intense, because you're just squatting nonstop for 1 minute. That could be X amount of a number of squats. Somebody could do 30, 40, 50. Someone might be able to get 15 to 20 done, because their legs just might start giving out on them. It's really hard to do. You're doing just body weight, and it's 1 minute nonstop. So you take
60 seconds of squats, go. Boom.
Exactly. And then that's one set. So then boom, now you take 30 seconds of rest. Then you're doing set 2. Okay. No, so so the second set of the air squats. So you don't go to the next exercise
until you do all 3 sets.
Right. Exactly. And then
so it's 3 minutes of air squats.
Yes, with 30 seconds in between each set.
With 30 seconds in between. Okay.
Yep. All right. And then you have the next one is exercise number 3. It's 3 sets of 10 reps of box jumps.
Yeah.
So it's pretty self-explanatory. You can see in the picture right there, you're just jumping onto the platform. You're doing 10 reps of that, 30-second rest, and then you do the next 2 sets. Yeah. The fourth exercise is a walking lunge. You do 3 sets of 10 reps for each leg. So you're doing, if you were to just walk in a straight line, you're doing 20 total. If you stay stationary and you stick one leg out, you can do 10 on that leg or vice versa, whatever.
So that's 30, 10, 10. So it's 20 for each set. That's 60 reps total.
Yes.
60 reps total, with 30 seconds in between each 20 reps.
Yep. And after you just did the running and the air squats.
Oh yeah, you're burning already.
it's gonna hurt. It's really gonna hurt at this point.
Great leg exercises.
It's fantastic. The next one, exercise number 5, is the squat hold.
That seems like the same as the first one, air squat.
It does.
Oh, okay. So
when you go into that squat,
number 2 is going back up to a straight standing position.
Yes.
And number 5 is just staying in the chair position.
Exactly. And usually when you do a squat hold, your back is against the wall. With this one, you're not against the wall.
Yeah, and so you're just holding it for 30 seconds. Wow, exactly. That's tough, man.
Then you rest 30 seconds, and then you do it back over again. And you do that 3 times.
So 90 seconds of squat holds.
Yep. And then the last exercise is leg raises. So you start off completely flat.
It says 3 sets, but it didn't say how many repetitions.
Of which one?
Oh, so you raise it for 30 seconds and then you put it down. That's what it is.
Yeah, so you do as many as you can.
No. You hold it up for 30 seconds, then you go down, then you come back up for 30 seconds, and you go down, then you come back up for 30 seconds. No?
I think you're doing the motion as much as you can for 30 seconds. Just like the air squat.
For 30 so 30 seconds of repetitions?
Yes.
Unlimited repetitions. Okay.
Unlimited.
Okay.
Which is scary. I hate those workouts.
That's insane.
It is. It's nonstop for 30 seconds, and you might not. You might have to take some breathers in between. I don't know. It's a really hard workout, and
it is.
You're doing it nonstop for 30 seconds. By second 15 to 20, you're going to be feeling like you're done because you're going nonstop. So you want to pace yourself throughout this, I would say, and then you take a rest for 30 seconds and then back onto the next set, rest, back onto the third set. And that's the whole workout. So it's a little bit of a different structure than the norm ones, than the norm for what
I don't know. Over. I guess the person who created this is super fit.
That's what it looks like it is.
Yeah, super fit. Well, whoever you are, super fit, thank you so much for sharing this with us on Pinterest because you're adding value to our audience and to us.
Yeah. This one is a great workout plan. It's one of the best that I've seen so far. They're all amazing, though.
They're all amazing. I know. They're really great. Love these HIIT exercises. Yeah. Okay, and then our mindset tip of the day?
The mindset tip of the day is if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. So that kind of ties into what we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast.
Right.
It's like if you're not really pushing yourself to the point where you want to quit, it's not really going to change your body. Like you're not getting to that max level of effort that you could be.
Embrace the challenge.
Yes, absolutely.
There's no change without challenging yourself.
That's right.
All right, cool, man. So that was awesome. All right, so now we're going to move into the spiritual tip of the day, and that is the summary of the book of Colossians. And this is just a quick 2-page summary. It's from the Living the 66 Books of the Bible by Dr. David Jeremiah. That's the cover of the book. We are reading from a quick summary of the book of Colossians and how this can be applicable in your life. How can it add value to your life? So here we go. Whenever you're being pulled down, look up. Set your mind on the risen, enthroned Christ, who is in all, through all, and over all. That's the message reverberating through Colossians. The church in Colossae had been started by Epaphras, that was a tough name to pronounce, one of Paul's converts, who was concerned because false teachers were gaining a toehold among his members. When Epaphras, I guess that's how you pronounce it, asked Paul to write to the church, the apostle took the occasion to clarify and magnify the doctrine of the person of Christ. Every false teaching distorts the doctrine of Christ in some way. Paul addressed that here, calling Jesus the image of the invisible God. It's so 100% true because God came to earth in the form of man, who we call Jesus Christ. That's Colossians 1:15. Though we were dead in our sins, we have been raised to life in him and through him. Since you have been raised with Christ, you should seek those things which are above, where Christ is, sitting at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. What does that mean? It means don't get caught up in the material things and trappings of life. Be cognizant of that, of the fact that this life is going to end when you hit close to 100, maybe 80.
Yep.
We don't know how long we have. You could be 30. But once you're dead, like let's say you get 100 years, you're gone. That's it. Life starts all over again for eternity. And what's most important is, what have you done to help further other people being able to go into that kingdom of God as well? Because you're either going to go to one place or the other. This is what we believe, and this has been believed by billions of people for a very long time, for thousands of years, that there is a heaven, there is a hell, and you're going to go to one place or the other. And so if you don't think about those things while you're on this life, that your 100 years is going to pass, and you're going to find out the consequence in the wrong way. But if you're mindful that this 100 years is going to pass very quickly, and you're doing the things that are helpful to other people. In other words, the basic commandments are love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and spirit, and love other people as you love yourself. That's the two great commandments that we have from God. So if you're loving other people, then you're doing good. If you're not loving other people and you're just focused on yourself, you're doing bad. That's your barometer.
Right.
So he's saying be focused on loving one another and loving God. That's what he's saying by being heaven-minded. Yeah. We do this. We keep this mindset by meditating on Scripture. That means meditating on the words that are in the Bible.
Yep.
Many believers have experienced going for long walks or pacing around their houses during periods of discouragement, quoting Scripture and singing hymns of praise, deliberately shifting their thoughts and emotions upward toward the throne of God. So in other words, what's being said here is that if you feel depression, if you feel sadness, one of the best ways to therapeutically overcome that is by reading the Word of God and listening to praise music, because it will lift up your spirit and help you overcome sadness and depression. I wholeheartedly believe that's true. I know it's applicable in my life for sure, which I deal with depression frequently. Part of being bipolar. Okay, so it takes effort to lift our eyes to heaven. It does. It takes effort to focus on God. If you don't intentionally focus on God, you'll be focused on things around you in the world, about the media, who's winning this award, the Emmy, the Grammy, the whatever, Oscar, all of these material things that won't even matter in 20 years from now. You know, your celebrity that you're in love with, that you idolize, will not be important in 20 years from now. They just won't, you know, or you'll realize that when you get older, 50 years from now, that popular band when you were 20 years old, they're a bunch of old people. And the only people in the audience are a bunch of old people too. Do you want to go hang out in that group? You know, things are evolving, man. And so, like, you know, there's celebrities, like, if you mention a celebrity from the days gone past, like if I say Pauly Shore, most people don't even know who Pauly Shore is, but he was in a movie called Encino Man, and he was very funny and very popular at that time period.
I remember that movie.
Brandon Fraser were in that
That's
movie.
right. The caveman.
The caveman.
That was a good
He's
movie.
like, no wheezing the juice. I'm just wheezing the juice, man. No wheezing the juice. All right, so we have to dispense with self-pity and toxic anxiety. This is right here, again, dealing with overcoming these depressive thoughts, self-pity, toxic anxiety, and refocus on Him.
Yeah.
The things of earth grow strangely dim when we seek the things above. That's your key takeaway. That's so amazing, right? The things of earth go strangely dim when we seek the things above. Basically, when we focus on Him.
That's right.
All right, what's a key theme, buddy?
Let me get it right here for us. So our key theme of the day of this summary is going to be, since we have been raised with Christ, we must set our hearts on things above where Christ reigns. And we must do everything heartily as to the Lord. Colossians verse 3:23. Our key challenge: claim the truth of Christ and the power of the Holy Spirit by encouraging yourself in the Lord. The key verse: if then you were raised with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ is sitting at the right hand of God. Colossians verse 3:1. The key prayer: Lord, help me not to set my heart and mind on things here on earth, but to keep my focus on things above with you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Overall, I really believe that everything is providential. So God has already orchestrated a plan for us, and if we live in alignment with His will, with His plan, things fall into place naturally, very easily.
Yeah.
When we step outside of the design that He has for us, then things get complicated. And so it's kind of like it's like the sensors on your car when you're driving and you're about to go and hit a speed bumper, hit a bump or something, or steer to the, when you're backing up and you hear the beep, go beep, beep, beep.
Yep.
You know, those alerts, like I think our life, like our bodies have a built-in alert system that lets us know when we're off balance, when we're not doing things right. And a lot of people, when they don't live with God, everything feels off. I know I did before I was saved. I felt everything was off, man. I would try, and I was successful. Like, I mean, I had ups and downs in my journey, and even when I was successful, I was dealing with problems. I think people mistake that, like, once you become successful, your problems go away. No, you just get more problems. You get different problems. So you just have money that you can deal with things, like, or you can afford to take a vacation, escape from your problems, you know?
Right.
But what I think I was so caught up in living a worldly life because I had walked away from the church for a long time, and I had in my 20s, and I feel like my alarm system was going off all the time, but I just wasn't aware that it was because I wasn't aware that I was missing God in my life until I lost everything and I was rock bottom and I was on my knees crying and saying, God, please help me out of this freaking mess I was in. I mean, I was dealing with cord issues, massive cord issues, you know, just financial distress, lost my car and my car was repossessed. Like I was in 2007, I was a mess, man. And I was like, okay, you know what, God, I'm going to finally just give in and I'm going to do things your way, 100% your way, because I've been avoiding you. And I know that you're giving me the sign now. I had a dream, man. Like, I feel like I had a dream that I feel like God was telling me, like, this is your last chance. Get it right now, or you're not going to get into heaven. And so, like, from that point forward, I just said, okay, I'm all in, you know, all in. And then I started studying the Bible, like really studying the Bible for 2 years. I just dived into it 100 for the whole thing, cover to cover. And you know, that commitment, just the commitment was a game changer. And I cut out all my friends and everything and just dived 100% in. So I'm saying all that just to say that when you get into it, when you get into your salvation with Christ, when you're walking with God, the alerts become very clear. And the deeper you walk with God, the closer you walk with God and understand His messages to us. We're in conversation. We read the Bible. We hear His voice. We go to prayer and we pray to Him and He hears our voice. That two-way communication builds over time, and you become more and more alert, more in tune with His will. And so your life gets easier and easier and easier, and you make progress and advancements, and you look back and you say, wow, we went from this to that to this to that, and you see all this growth happen in your life rapidly, and you're like, wow, I can't believe it's been almost 2 decades. That's where I'm at now. Wow, I can't believe it's almost 2 decades that I've been all in with God. And you just see, man, like it's just so much easier to deal with struggles, pain, grief, anxiety, all the things that the world does, basically, when you have the structure, the foundation of living a God first life.
Absolutely.
And that's what He's trying to get conveyed to those people over there. There's a lot of false back in those days. There was false teachings that were trying to steer people into variations of religion, and today the same thing is happening with like this plural coexistence ideology, where people are basically teaching others that Jesus is only one way, that there's multiple ways of getting into heaven. But that's not the case. It's not. God came down here and died on a cross for our atonement of our sins. And He's the only way to get into heaven. And so if you don't believe that, well, you know what? That's a big gamble that you're going to deal with at the end of your life that you're going to find out whether it's true or not. So
that's absolutely true.
My advice is do a little bit more research and read the Bible and compare it to those other things so you can make an educated decision on that one. But
absolutely,
the key takeaway is from a practical standpoint, you can overcome depression and anxiety by reading the Bible, by understanding that God loves you, and you can always count on that. You can't always count on human beings loving you and being there for you. Even the ones that love you 99% of the time will fail 1% of the time, at least, right?
Yeah.
But God always loves you, and you can always count on that. And that is therapeutic. That is helpful.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I went too far. If I went too far on that, but I have an emotional connection to that content.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So earlier this week, Sebastian and I talked about providing information on return on investment, KPIs for marketing, right? So that you can get the maximum output for your financial input, right? Which means your expenses on marketing. Yeah.
Yep.
So I went to my little book library over here, my bookshelf, and I pulled out this book that I bought when I was in law school. It was published in 2017. It's called 1 Hour Marketing.
Okay.
It was fun for me to review this to prepare for this episode.
Yeah.
I really love this content. The reason why, when I was at Barnes & Noble, it stood out to me because, number one, it's a tiny book, very thin, which means it's easy to read, and the pictures on it are attractive. So I was like, wow, I never heard of this guy, Herman Pool, but this is a nice looking, appealing book. So the packaging is great. The content is also fantastic.
Good, yeah.
All right, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a few little pieces outside of it, and then I'm going to give you my key takeaways from this. Now, the essential question, like we used to do when we were teachers, is we used to always put up an essential question on the top of the board, right? The essential question for this lesson is, what do business owners need to do for marketing to work? Okay?
Right, yeah.
And the answer is, you need a step-by-step marketing plan. And you can do that marketing plan in 1 hour.
Wow.
Okay. Number one, step one, understand that marketing is a science. And I love that he said, okay, let me finish it. Understand that marketing is a science that can generate measurable results. I love that he started this with a story about he was attending a seminar or a conference or something, and this guy came up to him at the end of his speech, and he said, "I'm going to show you what marketing. You got the definition all wrong. Let me show you what marketing is." And he pushes the guy, right, the author, and he says, "What? I don't understand." He goes, "Let me show you again." He pushes the guy, and he's like, "You see, marketing is get people to do what you want them to do." And he said, "No, that's bullying, and that's not what marketing is. What you did was you got me to do something, but I thought this guy's a jerk, and I never want to do anything with this guy again. So you may have won in the beginning, like for a one-time transaction, but you're never going to win my business forever because you made an enemy out of me."
Right.
Good story, right? So
yeah.
So the key takeaway of that introduction is to say that marketing is not manipulation. Okay, so with that in mind. Looking at marketing as a science, there's three things that you can apply in your marketing to. By the way, marketing is solving people's problems, right? Providing solutions to people's problems. That's what marketing really is. And then your marketing strategy is scientific in the fact that you want to do these things. You want to have frequency, consistency, and measurement, right?
Right.
It's a science in the form of, when you try out a new marketing channel, that's like a hypothesis, right? And so with a hypothesis, you come up with an idea and you say, okay, now let me test the hypothesis to see if it works or doesn't work. Okay, and that's where measurement comes in. Right. Frequency and consistency are parts of the psychology of marketing, and I'm going to read an excerpt from that.
Okay.
Okay, so effective marketing never involves manipulation or bullying. I already covered that. In the world of the entrepreneur, you have to share the accolades you receive from other people because you're the only one who knows them. That's in response to saying that marketing is not bragging. And then as more and more people hear about your positive stories and how you're making positive changes for the people who are using your product or your service, they're going to share that. And once it reaches the critical mass, everything is going to start to roll and grow, and your business is going to grow. So once you have enough people that have tried it, your word of mouth marketing, which is the referral of people to their friends and family of your business, will help your business grow.
Yeah.
Okay, now talking about the psychology, the frequency, and the consistency, that comes from this. Psychological studies indicates that all purchase decisions occur first in the subconscious mind and are driven primarily by emotion.
Wow.
Psychologists tell us that the best way to get a message through is through the subconscious mind is frequency and repetition.
Yeah.
The number of times a person must be exposed to an advertising message is the frequency. All right. In an article, The Impact of Television Advertising, Learning Without Involvement, Herbert E. Krugman explains that psychologically there are 3 levels of exposure: curiosity, recognition, and decision. In exposure number 1, the customer says, "What is it?" That's the first response.
Yeah.
With exposure number 2, the customer says, "Well, what of it? Why is it important to me?" Right?
Right.
So they're making a decision. Why is this important or not? If it's not important, they're going to discard it and move on. If it's important, they'll say, "Okay, I have to remember that. Maybe I will buy that water bottle." Okay.
Right.
Exposure number 3, Krugman describes as the true reminder. Now, from that point forward, that exposure is what's going to propel the customer to take action. All right.
Yeah.
First time they saw it, what is it? Second time they saw it, is it important to me? Third time, oh yeah, that is important. Let me go ahead and buy it. And they take action. So you need a minimum of 3 repetitions.
Yeah.
In J. Conrad Levinson's book, the author of Guerrilla Marketing, he pointed out that in his presentations that people are inundated with marketing messages today. We talked about this, guerrilla marketing, in a prior episode.
Yep.
So much that your message is missed 2 out of every 3 times. So if you're marketing, according to Levinson, if your marketing message is missed 2 out of every 3 times, and it takes 3 messages to hit, then you need to do 9 messages instead of 3 in order for it to be effective. If you use these numbers, okay?
Yep.
So that's where consistency comes in, right? You've got frequency and consistency, and now we need to talk about measurement, right? Which is the third scientific part.
Yeah.
All right. So he gives an example. He said, we listed a special track phone number, which you and I talked about, Sebastian, in the advertisement so that we could measure the response rate for that ad alone. If someone called on that phone line, we knew they had seen that ad. We always use tracking phone numbers in our ads, and we ran unique phone numbers in each phone book we advertised in. So basically what he did here was, because he ran a marketing agency, his advertisements had a unique phone number so they could track who was calling from that specific ad. And I recommend that everybody does the same thing too. Whether it be a specific landing page or a specific phone number that they dial or a specific text message that they respond to, you can track your response rates using a specific way for them to communicate with you. That only one of those mechanisms is applied to that strategy, that channel that you're using. So in other words, if you're marketing an advertisement in a magazine, have a specific phone number or a specific QR code that they have to use in order to respond to your offer, your call to action.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about step 1 is understanding that marketing is science, that it can generate measurable results through your frequency, your consistency, and your measurement. You'll be able to take control of marketing, right?
Yeah.
Step number 2 is to set goals. So whatever your marketing goals is, if your goal is to sell $100,000 in Q3, okay, well, that's a goal. That's great. Now, how are you going to make $100,000? Are you going to sell five product A's, 10 product B's, 6 product C's? whatever you need to do, break it down so that you have actionable steps of what you're going to sell, what product or service you're going to sell in Q3 to hit that $100,000 mark. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you do it blindly, if you have no goals and you're doing it blindly, then what are you going to measure? How do you know if you're successful on that? Right. Yeah. And you don't have, the more clear you are in your goals, the more clear you will be on drafting out your action plan. Right. So if you want to say, oh, I hope I hit $100,000 in Q3, and that's all you do, what follows? How are you going to do it? Right? Like, it's one thing to have a dream, but it's another thing to have a plan of action, and then you can modify that plan if it didn't work, right, in Q4.
Yeah.
You can say, well, I had a goal of selling blah, 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 and we did this XYZ marketing, and we got some traction here and no traction over here. Well, then in Q4, double down on the ones that you got traction and get rid of the ones that you didn't get traction at all, right?
Yep.
Okay, so having a set goals will help you, give you direction moving forward, and shows you what's working, what's not working. Step 4 is to create your marketing message. Now, the marketing message, there's a few different components that go along with it. Your marketing message includes things like having a tagline, having a 30-second elevator pitch, and having a story, right? It's called storytelling, story selling, or story branding. You want to develop your marketing message. And basically, your marketing message is telling your client why they need you. So find out what their problem is, speak to their pain, and solve it. So here's an example. We help owners of durable medical equipment companies who want to stay HIPAA compliant solve the problem of accidental data loss or security breach so they can experience security and peace of mind.
Yeah.
Okay. And then once you have your marketing message, the next step is to identify your marketing tools. Yeah. So in your marketing tools include things, you have inbound marketing and outbound marketing.
Yeah.
So some examples of outbound marketing are cold calling or door-to-door sales or sending a direct mail campaign or putting door hangers out or putting inserts in newspapers. Okay, TV commercials, radio ads, flyers, even email marketing is all outbound marketing, right? Postcards, radio ads, billboards, bus stop signs, those are all outbound marketing. Inbound marketing is word of mouth, pay-per-click, search engine optimization, social media posting. Outbound marketing is much more quick in response than inbound marketing. Inbound marketing takes time, and once you have a system in place and all of these things going, it will produce results, and it can be automated, which is fantastic. But the return on that investment is long term. You can't expect it to happen overnight. You have to put a lot of thrust behind that engine for it to start producing results. In other words, you got to spend money on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, TikTok ads, in order for it to get traction and start producing results on automatic pilot for you, where the return on investment will be higher than your cost, your operating cost. So basically, if you can have a system in place where people come into your, they see your marketing like an ad on pay-per-click, and they come into your system, and then they buy something from you that covers the cost of it. Now you're at a profit, right? Anything above that is pure profit. So you can double on it and expand it, scale it up. But before you get to that point, you're probably better off doing outbound marketing, which is cold calls, direct mail, in order to get clients in the door to start doing business now money, and work on those other things for later on money.
Yep.
And then the next thing is you need to put your prospects into a sequence, and that sequence, he gives a 7-step sequence. So the 7 steps of a customer life cycle include number 1, awareness, number 2, knowledge, number 3, consideration, number 4, conversion, number 5, fulfillment, number 6, advocacy, and number 7, loyalty. And I put this chart up on Instagram already. and it gives you examples of what is in each category. But I'll give you a couple of them here. Awareness, postcards. That brings awareness to who you are, what you do. Interest,
yes.
You get a landing page so that they can go to, that you drive traffic to. Let's say you have a QR code on the postcard, and when they scan that QR code, they go to a landing page where they have a video where you give them information. Okay? You went to awareness, to interest, and now they're going into consideration. They're listening to that information. They're learning about what you are, who you are, and what you do. Now, the next thing might be at the end of that video, you offer to do a presentation for them, a virtual call, a conference call, a discovery session, whatever you want to call it. It's basically a sales call where you can provide more information about your products or services, right? And that's where you convert them into a client. Then the next step is fulfillment. That's when you go out and you provide them with the product or the service that they are purchasing, right? And you want to make sure that you over deliver on the promises that you made so that they're super happy, satisfied clients and that they'll want to come back. The next step is advocacy. That means you call and you do customer service inquiries to follow up and make sure that they're happy with the product or the service that they bought. And then the next step is loyalty. If they're happy, you can ask them for referrals and they'll be happy to share those referrals with you, with their friends and family. And if they're really loyal, they'll become brand ambassadors.
Yeah.
And so basically, your 1 hour marketing plan, take all of the things that we just talked about and decide what channels you're going to advertise on, how are you going to move your client, your prospects from step 1 to step 7. And that, my friends, is your 1 hour marketing plan.
I love it.
And if you enjoyed it, then order this book. I don't get anything from sharing this. It's called 1 Hour Marketing by Herman Pool. And I think you'll really, really enjoy this book.
Absolutely.
There's a lot more value in it than what I shared on this episode.
Yeah.
And so that's it. That's what I got for you guys today.
I loved it. I think that
Me
was
too.
Great. All right. I am.
You're heading out the door. I can hear you. Yep. Time to go to work. Me too.
Yep. All right. It's time. Unfortunately, I do have to wrap up.
Yep.
So that was a great episode. I had a great time. All right.
Well, all right. Take us away.
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in, for watching. We appreciate you a lot for tuning in to us. And I hope that you guys are able to learn something with us. We put this information out there for us to make ourselves better. And we hope that you too can learn something valuable as well. You want to grow with others at the same time. You want to grow yourself, but the goal is to also give back and to help others as well. And so this is what we do to do that. We hope that you get motivation for the day. We hope that if you weren't excited for the day, that now you are. That if you weren't enjoying the week, now you're ready to attack it and not just react to it for the rest of the week. I really appreciate you guys being here. We love you guys. We pray for you guys. God bless you. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And go out there and amplify your message. All right.
Take care, everyone. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.
See you next week. Have a great week.
Thank you. Have a good week. All right. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.